PNR Networks is a member of Patreon. Show your love for our shows by joining our ongoing fundraising campaign and get some fantastic perks in return. Check it out and become a Patreon sponsor. You can sign up at patreon.com, patreon.com/PNR Networks. And thanks for your support.
She just goes a little mad sometimes.
Do you ever feel like you're normal and the rest of the world has lost its collective mind?
Put your helmet on. We'll be reaching speeds of 3.
Do you find people saying this to you a lot?
Are you totally deranged?
Are you looking for a looking glass to pass through?
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Or looking for a rabbit hole to fall down?
Who could think of a better punishment, really? Everything's the same here. It's just a little worse.
Guess what?
Life's a bitch. Now so am I.
You've found it. Welcome to Platinum Rose's Garden.
Hello, my darlings. This is Platinum Rose Lady welcoming you back to another week here in Platinum Rose's Garden on Sunday, May 14th, 2017. My voice is kind of a little stronger, but it's sort of coming and going, and I'm going to be taking sips of water during the show. Sorry, can't help it. Stupid cold that won't go away, and stupid hay fever, and stupid snot. I know you really needed that last one, right? I hope everybody had a great week out there. I had a week. It happened. So we'll just go from there. It's, my job, I like my job. Don't get me wrong. I do like my job. But there's just, I don't know what it was this week, folks. I don't know. Everybody I was dealing with on the phone this week was just pissed off about something. I got yelled at, I got screamed at, I got whined at, I got argued with, and it's just like, okay, so apparently everybody woke up on the wrong side of the bed this week? Everybody but me? I don't know. I mean, it's just, okay, and it's just, I don't know what it is. I know one thing it might be, but I'm not going to go into that. It just seems like, does it seem like to anybody else that people are a lot more angry now than they used to be? I mean, people get angry over the littlest things now, and people get all like, oh, I'm so offended, and I'm just kind of like, calm down, there's no reason to get all offended. I mean, they had, it's just, and people, all these rallies and marches and all this shit. I mean, that's great. I mean, if you feel like passionate about something and, you're not advocating, racism or anything bad like that, but you feel like you have to be passionate about something and you have to march for it. I mean, great, I guess, good for you. I've never been involved. Oh, no, I tell a lie. I did that once in college. We had this whole thing where we went to the State House and because they were cutting funds and stuff like that. And, that's important. And that's, so we did that. And I mean, it was legal. Nobody got dragged off in chains or anything like that. But, it's just, you see people on the news and they're always so angry and they're always yelling about shit. And I'm like, dude, calm the fuck down. It's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just, I don't know. I mean, I get passionate about stuff. I'm not saying I don't. And I probably get passionate about some things that some people are like, what the fuck? But I don't understand why you would call someone and you call them up and you're calling them at their job and you want them to help you and you get on the phone and you yell at them. Newsflash, they're not going to want to help you. They're not going to be like, oh gosh, this person's very upset, I should help them right away. They're going to be thinking, you're a dick, and they're not going to want to help you. Just Remember that the next time you call someplace and, decide you're going to cuss out the person before they even get on the phone. That's a human being on the other end of the phone. I'm not a computer. I'm not a little voice box. I'm a person. I have feelings, And, I mean, if somebody's nice to me and, calls me at work, I'll bend over backwards to help them. If you're nice to me, if you're pleasant with me, I'm going to be like, oh, sure, let me help you, and let me go that extra 10% to help you even more because you're a nice person and you're being friendly to me, but whatever. I just think that people just need to be nicer to each other. I mean, I know some people are probably being like, that's like earthy, crunchy, hippie, granola, Woodstock bullshit. And I'm not saying that I don't get, passionate or angry or even want to punch people in the face, because I do. I'm Irish. I can't help it. It's in our DNA. The problem is I'm Irish and Canadian, so you've got the whole warrior thing, and then you've got the whole genetically bred to be polite thing. Not trying to piss off anybody from Ireland or anybody from Canada, so just chill. It's really sad, though, because I am Irish and Canadian, and I have no tolerance for alcohol. So I've disgraced both stereotypes right there. Speaking of, I wouldn't say disgracing, but I would say this is a definite what the fuck moment. For those of you who actually follow this stuff, which is not me, although I did see this because everybody's been talking about it. For those of you who pay attention to this sort of thing, New England Patriots quarterback and all-around swell guy, Tom Brady, is going to be on the cover of the new EA Sports game, Madden NFL 18. To which I know some people out there just went gasp, and other people went, so what? Well, apparently there's something called the Madden curse. Yeah, I didn't know about this either. Apparently this is something that, like, all of the people that have been on the cover of this video game have had, like, catastrophic football career-ending injuries or have been severely hurt or whatever, blah, blah. So Tom decides, F that noise, and makes a video where he's like, I'm not worried about this curse because there is no curse because it's all superstitious nonsense, and decides to show, that, like, he's a real manly man and not afraid of this shit by taking a mirror and taking a hammer and smashing the mirror, then proceeds to walk under a ladder, and I'm sitting there going, dude, what the fuck? I'm like, what the actual fuck are you doing? I'm sorry, this is New England. We know from magic and curses and shit up here. Trust me. I'm like, man, what the hell are you doing? You're gonna have a conga line of black cats walk in front of your ass now? I'm like, fuck, man. When they're playing a game and some hideous shit happens, I'm gonna be like, you know what? Not that I want anything bad to happen to Tom, obviously not, because he's an awesome football player and a really neat guy, and the fact that the Patriots kick everybody's ass. Ha ha! Oh, I'm sorry, did I say that last part out loud? Oops! Silly old me. Also today, as I'm recording this late, I'm sorry, this is Mother's Day, obviously, in America, so I would like to wish a happy and heartfelt happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, whether you are a mom via naturally being a mom, or being an adopted mom, or a foster mom, or if you're a dad that acts like a mom because there's no mom around, or whatever. Anybody who is doing the mom thing, I wish you a lot of love because you have an amazing job, what you do. I would like, I know she won't hear this, I would, because if she did hear it, I would hear about all the swearing I do. I would like to wish a happy Mother's Day to my mom, Pat, who is a great lady and puts up with a lot of shit, has put up with me for years. We won't say how old I am. And, she raised me and my sister, for quite a while as a single parent because she divorced my dad, and which was one of the smartest things she ever did. And she did a great job raising the two of us. My sister's a great person. I would like to say Happy Mother's Day to my sister Joy as well, because she's got three kids and she's a great mom. But my mom went through a lot and raised me and did as good a job with me as she could do, because I was a fucking handful, because I was a fucking mess. And I just want to say I love you, Mom, and thank you for all the good that you brought into my life, because you're a terrific person. Okay, and we are getting to this week's Supernatural episode recap, and hang on, folks.
Carry on, my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest.
Season 12, episode 21 of Supernatural. There's something about Mary. The Then is dealing with a lot of things, obviously. Unfortunately, the Then kicks off with what was not one of the better moments in the series, when Eileen Leahy, while trying to kill the Prince of Hell, Dagon, actually wound up shooting and killing a member of the British Men of Letters named Remy. I mean, granted, Remy was a total douche canoe, but, Eileen didn't mean to kill him. But this has also capped off the fact that the British Men of Letters have pretty much declared war on American hunters. They feel that American hunters are too sloppy and not as coordinated as they are. And because of that fact, they want the leader of the British Men of Letters, at least the highest up we've seen so far, a total umbrage of a woman named Dr. Hess, has ordered that the American hunters be eliminated, and that the Winchesters be terminated with extreme prejudice. We see Kelly Klein and Castiel at a point when Castiel and Kelly were both saved by the baby that Kelly is carrying, who happens to be a Nephilim, a union of a human and an angel, specifically Lucifer. Somehow the baby has been able to communicate and share power with Cass, and Cass has come to the conclusion that the baby must be born with all of his powers intact, which is putting him on the opposite side of things of Sam and Dean, who think, rightly, this is a fucking horrible idea. We see Mary finding out what the British Men of Letters are really up to, leaving a call to Dean that something's wrong, and we see her being tased and held captive by the Men of Letters after a nasty fight with Mr. Ketch. And now we are at now, and we see Eileen running through a forest as we're seeing things from her point of view when, she's running and there's no sound because Eileen is deaf, and that she's also being chased by something. And from the looks of the way things for the camera is, when they're doing the monster POV, it's pretty obvious what is chasing her is a hellhound, which makes absolutely no sense at all, because why would a hellhound be chasing her? Unfortunately, Eileen is killed by the hellhound, mutilated and killed, and it turns out that the hellhound is being controlled by Mr. Ketch. And we get the opening credits, and I will talk about this at the end of the review. We open up on Sam and Dean walking into the motel room that Mary was staying in. It's very obvious Mary hasn't been there for a few days and that her things are gone. Dean calls Mr. Ketch, who is absolutely no help, because he's friggin' lying to Dean about not seeing his mom and all this stuff like that, which the Winchesters know is a lie. Sam, in the meantime, while they're still in the motel room, Sam gets a call from Sheriff Jody Mills about Eileen, about what's happened. And you can just see on Sam's face when he has to tell Dean the news that he is fucking destroyed. And my heart just broke. I was like, This is great. We're not even 15 minutes into the show, and I already want to drink an entire bottle of vodka. Fantastic. I am not advocating anybody drink an entire bottle of vodka. Just saying that. It's called cover your ass, children. They've also found out that Eileen's death makes the second dead hunter in 2 weeks. We cut to where Eileen's body is being held, which is in South Carolina. Sam says that, according to the official, ruling on her death, she was mutilated and attacked by some animal, is the normal people think. Of course, there aren't any animals in South Carolina, at least in the area of South Carolina that she's in, that would do that. I don't know how they're going to explain this. We see Sam and Dean in their Fed suits, standing over Eileen's body in a morgue. And Sam's pain is, Dean's upset too, but Sam, damn it, show! Sorry. The grief and the pain coming off of Sam is so palpable. It's just, you can just feel it. And Jared Padalecki did so much with this scene, and I'm just so fucking amazed at the job that he did. The guys have found out more information. 7 hunters in the past 3 weeks, 7 experienced hunters have all been killed in attacks by monsters. There's something fucking wrong here. We cut to hell, where Crowley is berating a chained up Lucifer. I'm sorry, whoops, no, we didn't get there yet, I'm sorry. Crowley is berating a demon, one of his demon underlings, for the fact that they haven't been able to locate Kelly Klein yet. We cut to another place. The hunter, we come to a hunter named Rick, who's coming home from a hunt, obviously, because he drops a bloodied weapon into an umbrella stand. That's where you leave it. Okay. I guess not everybody has a mud room, so, whatever. He walks into his living room, and Mary's sitting in a chair. She tells him about a nest of vamps nearby and asks if he wants to go on a hunt. He says sure. The thing is, as he's going to get them a beer, he catches a reflection of Mary pulling a knife. Mary attacks Rick and kills him. But suddenly we see Mary waking up in a room, obviously in the Men of Letters, the British Men of Letters, the place where they're keeping a base. She wakes up. She looks awful. She's in a cold sweat. And I'm like, did that really happen? Is she hallucinating? I'm confused and scared. She gets a visit later on from Lady Tony Bevel. Sorry, just saying that name makes me gag. Tony asks Mary if she's all right, and Mary has a flashback to being tortured via electric shocks. Nice. Tony says that Mary is being realigned. And doesn't that sound very Manchurian Candidate? Their whole thing is that they feel like they need to get her back to being Mary Campbell, natural-born killer. Tony winds up telling Mary what happened to John after Mary died, which I was just sitting there going, you fucking cunt. Sorry. There is a mature rating on this show, right? I'm like, you didn't have to fucking do that, you fucking son of a whore. And Tony tells her that all of the American hunters are going to be killed and replaced by hunters that work for the British Men of Letters, and also Mary, that they're going to basically turn her into a mindless soldier that just follows their commands. Mary attacks Tony, and Tony punches her, bloodies her nose, and locks her back in her room. Mary looks at her hand. Her hand has been stitched up. What we saw, it wasn't a dream or anything like that. She really did kill Rick. I'm like, damn. Dr. Hess winds up getting a visit from Crowley. It turns out that the demons and the British men of letters have a deal going that Crowley and his demons stay out of Britain, that they only show up in Britain when someone's dumb enough to, call them to make a deal to sell their souls, which explains, why, they've been so, not very worried about demons, apparently, because they have this deal going with them. Although, they keep bragging that they've rid England of monsters and all that stuff. I'm sorry, isn't Scotland considered part of Great Britain? I mean, Nessie? Hello? Not? Okay, whatever. Dr. Hess and Crowley continue to talk, and the whole gist of the talk is that they basically assure each other that the deal that's in place in Britain will be carried over into America as well once the men of letters kill all of the American hunters. Dr. Hess is also not very subtly threatening Crowley not to interfere when it comes to killing the Winchesters, which is something the men of letters plan to do. In hell, Lucifer is still chained up in the seat that Crowley has him chained in and still under Crowley's control right now, but that may soon be changing according to the demon named Drexel, who has been trying to undo the security system spell that Crowley's got going and free Lucifer, because Drexel is still loyal to Lucifer. And Lucifer is he says that he's close to freeing him, but Lucifer is a little bit more impatient about that. He wants to get loose so he can get to Kelly and get to his son. You do have to wonder if that's because he actually cares about the child growing in Kelly, or if it's because he cares about the child's power, because this is Lucifer we're talking about, and, does Lucifer love anyone but himself? It's really hard to say. I'm not a theology professor or anything. Lucifer hears Crowley on the phone talking with Sam, lying about the whole Hellhound attack. Crowley gloats to Lucifer about how things have been going, telling him that Dagon is dead and that Kelly is with Castiel and that she'll probably wind up being killed along with the baby by Cass. Crowley's making it very obvious that his whole thing is that he intends to use Lucifer as a weapon, and he'd rather use Lucifer as a willing weapon rather than a weapon that's trying to fight him at every turn. Lucifer, needless to say, tells Crowley to take the offer and shove it up his ass. And also refuses to help Crowley find Kelly. We see Mary suffering more torture, and after the torture, we see Dr. Hess and Mr. Ketch in a room, observing, and Tony comes in, makes some remarks about how Mary's coming along, and it's very obvious that Tony and Mr. Ketch do not like each other, considering she calls him a psychopath, and the look on his face tells, pretty much says that he wants to call her something worse. I can think of a couple of dozen words if you'd like to use them. Oh, no, wait, I hate you too. So, anyway, Dr. Hess starts talking about Tony and after she leaves, and Dr. Hess knows that Mr. Ketch has slept with Mary and with Tony. We see Sam and Dean outside of all things, a post office. And, Sam's talking about the hunters that have been killed who were all experienced hunters. And Dean has a letter. It turns out that Eileen had sent them a letter, an actual letter via snail mail. I didn't think people did that anymore. And it was sent, she wrote it obviously before she died. She had fled from Ireland because she was sure the British men of letters were following her and also, doing surveillance on her house. She found a bug in her room. She was pretty sure they were, they bugged her phone. And she was asking in the letter, I don't mean to sound all girly, but could I stay with you guys? She was asking to come and stay with the Winchesters, which, Sam and Dean totally would have said yes. And then maybe Eileen and Sam could have gotten closer and again, damn it, show! I will talk about that at the end as well. So Sam and Dean head back to the Batcave and begin searching for listening devices, and Dean finds the bug that is under the main table in the war room. Well, not the war room, the more common area room. At first I was like, are they just going to pull it out and crush it? And they decide not to do that. Sam and Dean instead start talking like they don't know the bug is there. And they're talking about meeting up with another hunter and kind of insinuating that the other hunter has told them some stuff about the British men of letters. And they arrange this meeting, which the British men of letters are listening in on. We cut back to hell, where Drexel running another check on Lucifer to see if the seals and the spells and stuff have weakened or broken or anything like that, so he can get Lucifer free. Drexel notices something extremely odd, that the power inside of Lucifer, which has him bonded to Crowley and has his vessel responding to Crowley's commands, that power is somehow being flipped around. Basically, whatever, and I have a guess what's doing it, or who's doing it to be more accurate, whatever makes up this spell, instead of Lucifer being controlled by Crowley, the spell is changing, so now Crowley will be controlled by Lucifer. Yeah, two guesses who's causing that. And if your guess is the unborn child growing inside Kelly Klein, give yourself a pat on the back and a cookie. Dr. Hess, as it turns out, being an evil, vicious umbrage of a woman, is playing Mr. Ketch and Tony against each other, offering them both a higher position in the British men of letters. The thing is, they both know it. So I'm like, how does anybody... These people make the Borgias look like the Waltons, for crying out loud. I mean, there is so much backstabbing and backbiting in this organization. I mean, Jiminy Crickets. Mary asks to see Mr. Ketch. She pleads for his help and gets his gun away from him and tries to shoot herself, which Ketch manages to stop. She begs Ketch to kill her because she tells him, and this just tore me to pieces. I was like, this is an incredibly proud, self-sufficient person that's been broken and just completely shattered and begging to be killed. And you fucking goat fucking sons of bitches did this to her. And she's pleading with him and telling him that all she had besides her family was her will, and that's going away. And she's terrified that she's going to be the instrument that kills her sons. And she's pleading with Ketch to kill her, to keep that from happening. And Ketch says that he keeps telling her, he promises that it's going to be all right and it'll be over soon, and leaves and locks her back in. And I'm like, you gutless motherfucker. You don't even have the fucking common decency to do the right fucking thing when it's right in front of you, you slime-sucking son of a bitch. This is all, by the way, directed at the character of Mr. Ketch. I would like to bring that up. David Hayden Jones, I'm sure, is a lovely guy. Just wanted to say that. Again, CYA, children. Sam and Dean show up at the rendezvous point, and the British men of letters follow. Tony still waiting in her car. Fucking cowardly bitch. And Sam and Dean trap the men of letters, hired guns in the building that they see them go into. The flunkies follow, and Sam and Dean lock them in. And they get outside and manage to capture Tony, not before Dean gets a shot in the nuts from Tony kicking him there. And she winds up being facing a gun being pointed at her by Sam. And I'm sitting there going, shoot her, shoot her, shoot her! And of course, Sam, being a far better person than I am, didn't shoot her, because I would have shot her and then kept shooting her till I ran out of bullets and then set the body on fire. I might have anger issues. I don't know. What do you guys think? We cut back to hell, where Crowley is mocking Lucifer some more. Lucifer doesn't really rise to take the bait this time, because he knows something Crowley doesn't know. And he also knows that he tells Crowley that his son is strong and getting stronger. Because I think Lucifer is also tweaked onto the fact that his son is probably causing this reverse of power thing. Lucifer winds up showing Crowley who's actually in charge with this reversal of power. He starts, doing motions and doing all these things, and Crowley's doing them back, which he has no control over. I do have to bring up the point when Lucifer refers to Crowley as Kermit the Frog, and then calls him his little Muppet, which was just really friggin' funny. I mean, I just love the way Mark Pellegrino said those lines. The Kermit the Frog line just killed me. It just killed me dead. Seriously. So obviously Crowley is in deep, deep shit. Tony is the prisoner of the Winchesters in the back seat of the Impala as the guys are driving back to the Bat Cave, Sam keeping his gun on her. When Sam asks about Eileen, did they kill her? Tony doesn't seem to know or really care. And, she also tells the Winchesters if they, that because they've attacked her, that the British men of letters are going to come down on their heads, and that the instrument of their destruction might actually be Mary. And then Tony decides to take her own fucking worthless life in her own fucking worthless hands by telling Sam and Dean that Mr. Ketch and Mary have been intimate. Mr. Ketch basically saying that Mary was the best sex he ever had. Yeah, Dean stomps on baby's brakes, and pretty much the only thing keeping him from dragging her out of the car and beating Tony to death with his bare hands is Sam. I'm sitting there going, Sam, don't stop him. Let him do it. Let him fucking do it. Let somebody kill this woman. Please! I am aching for this character to get killed. And she also tells the brothers Mick is dead, that he was killed by the British men of letters, and tells them that all of the American hunters are going to wind up dying as well. And she starts naming people off, people like Jody and Claire. She doesn't bring up Garth. I was like, oh. Seriously, I'm like, you know what? I have gone past the I really hate you point with Tony. I actually went by the I really hate you point when she fucking mind raped Sam. No, this has gone beyond the Incredible Hulk I'm angry level. This has gone beyond the Goku Super Saiyan I'm angry level. This has gone straight into the Godzilla rising up in Tokyo Bay level of angry. And nobody needs me to get that angry. 'Cause if I ain't happy, ain't fucking nobody happy. About the character. I'm sure Elizabeth, the lady who plays Tony, is a wonderful person. I'm sure she's great and fabulous. I really am. But damn it, I ache for someone to shoot Tony in the fucking head. I really do. Lucifer, meanwhile, is free of his chains. Crowley starts trying to Crowley his way out of the situation with flattery and then flat out running. That doesn't work. I don't really know if he really thought it was going to work, but it doesn't work. Lucifer beats the living shit out of him and then winds up stabbing him with his blade. And nothing happens. As in, there's no flash of light, there's no nothing. But there is something very interesting that I did notice. And I think it kind of leads in, I think I was like, oh, that's cute. That when Lucifer has Crowley on the ground, at one point, Crowley looks over to the side and there is a rat. I don't know how a rat would wind up in hell, but whatever. And the camera cuts away and cuts to Lucifer and then cuts back and he stabs Crowley and kills him, allegedly. I'm not buying it. Really. We cut to the Bat Cave where Sam and Dean are back with Lady Tony, and they find out very quickly they are not alone in the Bat Cave. Mr. Ketch is there with some armed British men of letters goons, which instantly turns into an extremely nasty shootout, with Mary winding up holding Sam and Dean at gunpoint. And I'm like, oh, fuckity fucking motherfucker, this is bad. Mary takes Sam's gun away from him, and Mary winds up leaving with Mr. Ketch. Just Mr. Ketch. Because when Tony tries to go with them, Ketch points his gun at her and says that she's going to die with Sam and Dean. The British men of letters have changed the locks on the Batcave, and they're going to, once Mary and Mr. Ketch leave, the locks are going to kick in. Sam and Dean and Tony will be locked in, and the water has been shut off, and the device that was pumping fresh air in has been also turned so that it will be sucking the air out. So the Winchesters and Tony probably have about 3 days worth of air left. And Ketch and Mary leave. Crowley's body is dragged away by the demons to be burned or just incinerated or whatever. The thing is, as it's being taken away, we see that little rat following along behind. Again, if you're pretty sure, like I'm pretty sure, that Crowley has possessed that rat and Crowley's spirit is in the rat's body, give yourself a pat on the back and a cookie. We see Mary sitting in the passenger seat as Mr. Ketch is driving away, and I'm going, please tell me they're not in the Impala, because I will just puke blood at this point. And Mr. Ketch is commenting that the treatments that Tony put Mary through, i.e. the brainwashing, have been very successful. He tells her that it will get easier. And when Mary asks him if he means it'll get easier to hurt the people that she loves, Ketch's response is that it'll be easier to hurt people you don't remember loving. Holy fucking fuck shit, this is bad. And it's even worse when he asks how she's feeling and Mary says she feels fine. And I just want to grab her by the head and fucking shake her like a rat with a terrier going, like a rat in a terrier's mouth, and be like, you just left your sons to die! Fucking wake up! The last shot of the episode is Lucifer standing on a mountain. I don't really know where, if it's a mountain in hell, if he's on Earth right now, I'm not sure. But he's got this very satisfied smile on his face, And he says that he is searching for his son. And the episode ends. There's something about Mary has, needless to say, caused an enormous amount of controversy with Supernatural fans. A lot of fans are absolutely fucking pissed about the fact that Eileen wound up being killed. Not only that Eileen wound up being killed, but that Eileen wound up being killed in the opening of the episode, where she didn't have any lines, where her, the people are screaming that her death was unnecessary, and so on and so forth and stuff like that. Am I happy about Eileen's death? Fuck to the no, I'm not happy about Eileen's death. I'm fucking furious. I really don't understand why the fuck they had to go there. I know that it was done, because Eileen's an experienced hunter. Fine. Eileen is a character that we cared about. Fine. But you guys, really, fucking seriously, Eileen was a strong, independent, proud, beautiful young woman who could have been a great role model for, girls that watch this show. She's someone that had to overcome being deaf and, I don't mean overcome, like, I'm not saying that in a way to make deaf people seem like they're less than other people, because they're not. They're just as great as everybody else. But, being deaf is probably difficult enough. Being deaf and being a hunter and fucking hunting monsters? Holy fucking shit, that is fucking hardcore as hell! And I'm not fucking happy about this. And am I fucking being like this because I shipped the fucking hell out of Sam and Eileen? Yes! I will be perfectly honest and totally blunt with you and say, fuck yes! I shipped the fucking shit out of Samleen. I thought that Sam and Eileen would be a terrific couple together. They obviously had a lot of attraction to each other. And damn it, I want Sam to be happy. Is that a crime? Alright, okay. Enough. I know sometimes I get shrill. Sorry. To Shoshana Stern, who played Eileen for 3 episodes and completely touched our hearts and became a part of the Supernatural family. Shoshana, you're amazing. You're an amazing human being, and I wish we got to see more of Eileen. I really do. What makes it even worse is that Eileen actually was a legacy to the men of letters. Eileen's grandfather was a man of letters. So, the men of letters just go around killing their own people as much as they go around killing monsters. The British men, excuse me, the British men of letters are a fucking menace. Fucking seriously. These people are like Supernatural's answer to the Death Eaters from Harry Potter. Fucking A. The one thing that a lot of fans were pissed off about as well was the letter that Eileen sent to Sam and Dean. The whole, I don't mean to seem all girly line. I don't have as much problem with that as other people do. Why is it wrong for people to acknowledge being feminine? I don't think being girly is asking for help. I think that was being honest. I think she was just feeling like, I'm at a point where I'm feeling vulnerable and I don't know how to word it, so I'm going to say it like this. I'm not saying it was a perfect line, but I don't really understand all of the fury being directed at that line. So that's where it is. All of the people who have been screaming that Mary should be killed this season, and why did they bring Mary back, and so on and so forth, and et cetera, et cetera. You have to understand something. And this, we have all been, as fans, we have all been going through this journey with Sam and Dean. And for the most part, we see stuff, if not directly through Sam and Dean's eyes, we see it from their point of view, usually. And Sam and Dean have always had, especially Dean, because he remembers his mom, because Sam was only 6 months old when she was killed. The boys have always had this idealized view of their mother, because she was taken from them so young, and they probably had to listen to John talk about how wonderful and special and everything she was. She was taken from Dean when Dean was 4, which is an age when your parents are like gods to you. And like I said, Sam doesn't really have any physical memories of his mom because he was 6 months old when she died. So they've had this Madonna-esque image of their mother in their heads and in their hearts. And that's something that I think a lot of us tend to do, with our parents. I mean, some of us can't. I mean, I can't with my dad because things with me and my dad weren't good. I mean, I can remember a few good times I had with my dad, and that's being honest and upfront with you guys. But for the most part, they weren't good. But I definitely can remember some things that were great about my dad and good times with my dad, but the bad times outweigh the good. So I'm being honest with myself about that. Sam and Dean didn't have that luxury because they didn't have a chance to get to know their mother as a human being, not just as mom. There's mom, and then there's the person behind the title of mom, if you follow what I'm saying. And now they're getting to know this person. And this person is a person, Mary Winchester, when she died, had given up hunting, but still had that legacy in the back of her mind. And the person that she was when she died had a 4-year-old son and an infant son. Now she's got these 2 grown men calling her mom. She's come back to a world that's completely changed than the one that she left. So I guess my whole point is, up till this point, I've been cut Mary some slack. Now I'm really of the opinion, I feel sick. I mean, I literally feel sick because I know that the real Mary Winchester is inside of this robot screaming to come out, probably, like Sam was when Lucifer was possessing him back in season 5, As I mentioned before, Jared Padalecki did an amazing job, when Sam was confronted with Eileen's death. Just everything about the way he held himself and his carriage and his attitude and his voice, it was so moving and so beautiful and so sad. I mean, really sad. I am giving There's Something About Mary 3.5 bouquets out of 5. It's not going to wind up being one of my favorite episodes of Supernatural ever, but I am definitely not going to shit all over it like other people have. And I'm going to actually talk about that in the next segment a little bit. This coming week, we get the last 2 episodes of season 12 of Supernatural, and they're running back to back on Thursday night. Who We Are, followed by All Along the Watchtower. It's going to be something. It's going to be something. Okay, before I head out of here, kiddos, I have a couple of other things I want to say real quick. First off, to David Hayden Jones, I really think you're an amazing person. I've spoken to you a few times on Twitter. And you've been very nice and sweet and polite and gracious, and I appreciate that, and you're a nice guy, and I wish you nothing but success. However, your character of Mr. Catch I wouldn't piss on if he was on fire. So, yay to you for making your character so believably hateable. You're a great actor, David. There was a compliment in there somewhere, trust me. Okay, now this, I don't like doing this, and I have actually been told by my dear, sweet, long-suffering husband, TC, who actually has to edit this shit together and makes my ramblings make something close to sense, that sometimes I tend to lecture people. Guess what? Here comes another one. This episode has obviously been a very talked about episode of Supernatural, and not in a good way. A lot of fans are pissed off. A lot of fans didn't like this episode for various and sundry reasons. Eileen's death, the fact that they felt like Eileen's death was unnecessary, the fact of the whole girly line, which I still don't understand the lunacy about that, but anyway. The fact that they felt like there wasn't enough Sam and Dean in the episode, on and on and on and on and on. And they have a right to say these things. They have a right to go on the internet and say these things. They even have the right to go on and say that they think the writers of the episode, which would be, give me 2 seconds, I went away from the screen, sorry. The 2 people that wrote the episode, Brad Buckner and Eugenie Ross Lemming, should be fired. I think that's going a little overboard, but, you know, what the hell? It's the internet, and goodness knows everything goes there. What I have a problem with is that there are certain fans that have taken it upon themselves to tell other fans, well, you didn't like this episode of Supernatural and you criticized it. You're not a real fan of Supernatural. You're a bad fan. To the fans who do that, don't do that. Don't be that person, please. Supernatural is a really great fan base, very passionate, fun-loving people, but there are pockets of annoying, crazy people out there. You know, people that push this pairing has to be canon and that has to be canon, and, you know, other things about the actors' personal lives that is really nobody's fucking business. You know who you are. I'm not bringing up anything like that because I don't want to wind up in their spotlight anyway. But you don't get the right to tell another fan they are a bad fan or not a real fan because they didn't enjoy an episode or because they didn't feel an episode was up to the usual writing style and quality and stuff like that. For example, I'm a Star Trek fan. I have been a Star Trek fan my whole life. Star Trek has been part of my life my whole life, literally. And I love the original Star Trek. Love the original series. Love it to death. Do I love every single episode of Star Trek? No. There are certain episodes I really don't like, for whatever reason. But that's me. And you know what? I have a right to not like those episodes, for whatever reason. If somebody said to me, well, you're a bad Star Trek fan and you're not a real Star Trek fan because you don't like everything about the show, we'd be stepping outside. 'Cause you just woke up the Irish in me and you woke up my spirit animal, and nobody wants to wake up my spirit animal. But the thing is, Star Trek fans don't do that. You know why? Because for the most part, Star Trek fans aren't fucking crazy people. Stop making Supernatural fans look like fucking crazy people. Quit it. Now. If somebody doesn't like an episode, fine. You can be like, well, I liked it. And if they still say, well, I still don't like it, you say, okay, let's change the subject and talk about something we both like. Don't sit there and be like, well, you have to like it because you're a Supernatural fan. And if you don't like it, you're not a real Supernatural fan. Fuck you. No. I'm an enormous Star Wars fan. If you seriously think I could sit through Attack of the Clones again, you are out of your friggin' mind. Christopher Lee or no Christopher Lee. Does that make me any less of a warsy? show. It just means I have an opinion. You don't get to judge whether somebody's more of a Supernatural fan or less of a Supernatural fan than you because of the fact that they may not like an episode as much as you did. Get off your friggin' high horse. Seriously. Whew. Okay. Calm down now. I hope you guys will check me out over on Twitter. I'm Platinum Rose Lady over at twitter.com. You can come follow me over there. I usually wax poetic a couple of times a day. Wax poetic is a nice way to say I say a bunch of goofy shit. And there's also our show that TC and I do together, our couple of shows actually, Subject Cinema over at subjectcinema.com, which is our movie podcast. We have lots of fun and do all kinds of crazy things. And we have something very special coming up after Memorial Day. All summer long, Subject Cinema will be going to the drive-in. We're doing a whole drive-in summer, doing all kinds of fun stuff, talking about drive-ins. Yes, there are still drive-ins out there. And talking about movies that played at the drive-in and drive-in memories and all kinds of things like that at subjectcinema.com. I hope you'll check us out. There is also the other members of our family, which include Cavebabble, which is Eric and Valerie, the Lion family. They're on hiatus right now, but their old shows are available over at cavebabble.com, and they're really fun, fantastic people. And I hope you guys will, if you have any messages for me, you can send them to platinumroselle@yahoo.com, put PRG in the header, and I will know they have to do with this show. So that is going to wrap it up for another week here on Platinum Rose's Garden. This is Platinum Rose Lady, signing off for another week and reminding you to love the ones you hug the ones you love, and take some time to stop and smell the roses. I'll see you around. Bye!
Podcasting's choice. From coast to coast, continent to continent, right here 24/7.